Viewers and subscribers, welcome to another edition of the Coach's Desk with your host, Kevin Minze. And we have a special guest in studios this afternoon in one Zaheer Clarke. And just a little background talk that we've been having before this. And I didn't know so much about Zaheer, that some of the stuff that he participated in. But I'm going to leave him to tell you more about that. And before we jump into that, viewers and subscribers, I am encouraging you just to log on to Coach's Desk, subscribe, share, and comment down below in the comment section so we can have some lively discussions on the topic. Zaheer Clarke, welcome to the Coach's Desk.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, definitely. It's a pleasure for us to have you today on the Coach's Desk. And of course, some persons might know the face, some persons might know the name, but I'm going to leave you, Zaheer, to tell the audience who is this individual.
Wow, that's a loaded question. Well, Zaheer, right now, a lot of persons know me as a blogger because I think in the last 5 years or so, I've won the Blogger of the Year from the Press Association of Jamaica. And also I've been recognized for my columns in the opinion journalism section, the Morris Cargill award section. I got, I think, some certificate of merit in that area. Mm-hmm. So most persons know me from that. Some persons know me as the stats guru when it comes to cricket. Yes. I follow a lot of cricket and do a lot of analysis when it comes to cricket and statistics. Also, some persons might know me as a lecturer because for almost 15 years, I used to lecture math and chemistry to the tertiary level at various institutions in Jamaica. And right now, some persons might know me as an IP network engineer because that's what I'm doing presently now.
Yeah. Okay, well said. But Zaheer, how did you get involved in cricket analysis or sports itself, but more so cricketing analysis? Because you just mentioned that you have gotten a lot of awards where blogging and journalism is concerned, and I guess that's for cricket. So tell the audience about that.
Well, how it actually started, I think it's probably started before birth. Because as some persons might recognize, my name is Zaheer Clarke, and I was actually named after Zaheer Abbas, the Pakistani cricketer.
Yes.
Yeah. So my dad, he was an avid cricket fan, avid sports fan. Even my middle name is after another sports person who's a jockey. And so he was somebody who loved cricket. My father, he has been following cricket for like over 50 plus years, religiously, meaning match by match. A cricket match doesn't miss him. Even now when he's retired, he watches cricket 24/7 basically. The only time he's not watching cricket is when he's sleeping. So he has been like an inspiration for me because a lot of the analysis and stuff, he was the one that introduced it to me years ago when I was just a toddler. And even when he was a cricketer, when he used to play cricket like in his community and stuff way back in the days, he was the one that used to do even the scoring and stuff. So stuff like that sometimes I think comes from him. When he's not playing, he was the one who's taking the stats and stuff like that. So I think the numbers thing, and based on his profession as well, I was very comfortable growing up with numbers. So I guess it started there. But the big thing was, I think, probably in 2014, 2015. I think I had a problem with how I saw some persons looking at cricket, and not only cricket but sports, and how they analyze sports in terms of statistics. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine, Dr. Denarto Dennis, he and we used to spend hours, like late nights, up in the nights, just sitting there, just analyzing numbers, looking at different players' careers and stuff. And it all started there. After we used to lecture for hours at different universities, we used to meet up like 8:30 to 11 o'clock in the night, just pouring over different players and analyzing the numbers. So it all started there. And then I think around 2014, I started to post a few things on Facebook, and somebody encouraged me to send it off to the papers, and I did. And from there, I got my jump into media, and a lot of persons and editors loved it, and then they gave me a chance.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we soon get into a very famous sports journalist who I normally hear contact you to get some cricketing stats. But we were not going to get into that as yet. All right, Zaheer, you have an entity, or you conceptualize that entity, stats or facts, stats, and lies. How did that come about?
It came about from a quote that I saw. I think the quote was attributed to Benjamin Disraeli, or I think it was Mark Twain, that says that, let me try to remember the thing. There are three lies in the world. I think lies, excuse the language, damn lies, and statistics. And I came up with that term looking at that quotation. And another one, I think by also Mark Twain, that says that, I think it says that statistics are pliable, but facts you can't change it, something of the sort, to paraphrase it.
Right.
So that's how I came up with the term facts, lies, and statistics from those two quotes.
And that has been helping a whole lot of individuals on the social media platform. Am I right?
Yeah, true.
I don't want to call the famous journalist name on the program. So I'm just going to leave that one there. Now, let's talk about West Indies cricket. Because that's a sore point on everybody's lips right now. Persons are devastated, even on the eyes to watch West Indies play. Some persons used to lose their sleep and they are not doing it anymore because of what is happening, right? So, is this administration doing better than the last Dave Cameron-led administration?
It's kind of hard to judge them definitively, since I think they're only 1 year into it. But for me, I don't think that I've seen a lot of improvement so far. We didn't do so well in the World Cup. I think that was one of our worst performances in tournament-wise in terms of finishes, and even the amount of games that we won in the tournament. And the India series was not that hot. I think we lost almost every match in that series. And the bright spark, I think, was later in the year when we played India. I think we won one match there, and Afghanistan, where we won the Test series, but and I think we won the ODI series, but lost the T20 or vice versa. Not remembering right now. But it's kind of even killed. I don't see any big improvements so far. I think this upcoming series that we have against England and the others that were to follow, I think against New Zealand, will probably give us a measuring stick as to how good the players are, and if the work that they've been putting in over the past 12 months is about to reap fruit.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Now, T20 has taken over the cricketing arena by storm.
That's right.
Persons are loving T20, and one famous universe boss is one of the leading protagonists in that T20 event. But is it assisting the development of cricket, Zaheer?
Oh, good question. When you look, well, playing any form of cricket can develop your cricket. But if we look, a lot of the youngsters these days, they're gravitating to T20 cricket. And sometimes for them, the proper techniques and stuff, I don't know if they focus on it. The appetite to bat for long periods, because the T20 game is just 20 overs. Batting for 20, 30, 40 overs in a day, 50 overs, batting 500 balls per day. I don't know if a lot of players go out there and practice that, because in order to succeed, you actually have to practice that. Chanda Paul can tell you, Lance Klusner can tell you, a lot of persons can tell you, in order to succeed, Darren Warner can tell you, in order to succeed, you have to go out there and put in the hours in the nets. But I'm not sure if it's helping, and I think it will be hurting. It has helped the game in terms of attracting fans. It has helped the game in terms of
money.
Persons, money, bringing money into the sport. And it has also helped the game. But I'm not sure, because a lot of times we see the swashbuckling hitting, and I don't know how much that transfers over to the ODI game or into the Test game as yet. But let's see. We still have another 5 years. We're still early into the T20 experiment.
All right, I take your words for it. But from from where I'm sitting, I don't think that it is developing cricket or the version of cricket that people used to. In terms of the test cricket, the resilience that the batsmen would have batting for hours, facing fast bowlers and those stuff, that is not there anymore because too much flamboyant actions are into the T20, and that is not giving the batsmen enough time to stay at the crease, face delivery, give them the patience, the mental toughness. So I don't believe that it is developing the aspect of test cricket that we'd want to see, because we're doing pretty poor, I believe, in test cricket. I know you are the facts man, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. So T20 has its place, but in terms of development, I don't see where it is actually developing cricket or developing a player that wants to play test cricket.
It's a good point. I know that a lot of the players that do well in T20 cricket, I talk about really do well in T20 cricket and consistently, and also in ODI cricket, they are usually the players that do well in Test cricket. So getting that technique down, batting for longer, playing the 4-day games, playing the 2-day games, and batting for hours, that will definitely help develop your technique as a cricketer. And that patience that you need sometimes in the longer formats. But because of the fast pace of T20 cricket, I'm not sure in terms of that technique and that patience and stuff. Because if you look at players like Kohli, Williamson, if you look at those persons, all the persons that are top-notch persons who play well in T20 cricket, the Sharmas, they also perform fairly well in Test cricket. So I would encourage any youngster to master that technique first, get that technique down first, and then you can go into expanding your game and playing all these beautiful shots to the boundaries.
Definitely, I agree with that point. Now, Jamaica has been doing well, or we have a rich history under coach Juna Bennett. But over the years, things have taken a turn for the South. Can you shed some light on that?
Boy, I need a lot of light on that myself. We saw for sure under Junior Bennett and prior, I think, to Heaven's ascendancy to the presidency of Jamaica Cricket Association, the team was doing pretty well. Even though we were doing well, there were some what's the word I'm looking for? Weaknesses in the team, especially when it came to, I think, the batting. And overall in the West Indies, batting and making big scores has been an issue for 4-day cricket. And we can go on for probably the last 5 or 10 years. Players have not been applying themselves, I think. Or maybe the wickets are more conducive to the spin bowlers. But as we see, a lot of the spinners are the ones that take a lot of the wickets, the Permals, the Nikita Millers and all those persons. They are the persons that usually dominate the 4-day game. So in terms of Jamaica, there was weaknesses back then in terms of the batting. I think what happened is that when the bowling dropped off, winning those matches was not as easy for us. So we have seen that drop off for the team. But I guess in the past year or so, you could say that there have been some sparks there. You have a few players who have now transitioned into the test squad and even to the ODI squad, and persons like even Brandon King and others. They are persons that I'm hoping can bring back those glory days and put on those big scores. Because we remember when Jamaica was doing well as well too, there were sometimes we had persons in the team that could put on those big scores. If you remember back in the days, like with Robert Summers as captain,
yes,
had persons like Gale who was making like tons of scores in the game, and you also had persons like Leon Garrick, you had Robert Samuels. There were some persons there could make runs, but then after that crop left off, the bowling was what was getting us to win matches. But since then, we have not seen that, since the bowling has dropped off and the batting has not come forward.
Right, definitely. So there's a lot of work to be done where Jamaica's cricket is concerned. Are we developing enough talents? Because there's this notion of born with the talent as opposed or compared to developing the talents?
I think with any sport, with any sport, both things come into consideration. I know that some persons look at nature versus nurture, but
Yes.
for me, both of them go hand in hand because you need some basic requisites, whether it's genotypical or physiotypical attributes in order to play certain sports. And also, on top of that, you have to put in the work and a lot of work. If you look at the elite players worldwide, the Steve Smiths, the Virat Kohlis, even players in the back in the days, Chanda Paul, Lance Klusener, Lara, you could name them. They actually had to put in the work. And if you look at some of their best times in the game, it was times when they actually really applied themselves. When you look at somebody like even Chanda Paul, a lot of persons looking at Chanda Paul wouldn't think that he has all the attributes to be this great cricketer. He's not that big muscular guy. He's not somebody that you think that, yeah. But he actually puts in a lot of work, a lot of running, a lot of playing cricket back home and stuff. He has a bowling machine. You have to put in the work. If you look at even somebody like a Lance Cruz now, dominated the ODI games and all around, he will tell you that he was hitting 400, 500, 600 balls a day just to get himself prepared, just to bat for 10 or 30 balls or 20 balls in an ODI game. So you actually have to put in the work. And we have seen it with all of the stars, Michael Jordan, etc.
Definitely. And you mentioned a critical point there, Zaheer, which I want to touch on, where it is said that the West Indies players, they don't like to take singles. And there was this issue that came up about fitness and persons being dropped because of their fitness level. Can you shed some light on that? Because you're mentioning that these players in the past, they put in a whole lot of work. They do a lot of running. They bat like 600 balls. So are these players too comfortable now that they don't want to put in the work?
I'm not say comfortable. I think there has been a shift in how players are prepared. Back in the days, a lot of players, the running and spending time in the nets. I know a lot of players these days, it's the gym work and stuff. But for me, you have to couple the gym work also with a lot of cardiovascular work and aerobics and stuff. So for me, you have to put in both. But spending the time in the middle is it comes down to that. If you look at like somebody like Steve Smith, Steve Smith will be out there batting like for 6-7 hours for the day. I remember David Warner giving a story that when he first went to, I think it was Durham, and saw Chanda Paul there. Chanda Paul, I think, was the overseas player at the time, and he went there to play. And he said Chanda Paul out there batting for like 6-7 hours straight on the bowling mat, and he was like, you're not giving somebody else a chance, but how can you be batting for so long? And Chanda Paul said, if you want to bat for 6 hours in a test match, you have to practice batting for 6 hours in a day.
That's right. That's right.
So you have to put in the work. You have to spend the time in the middle, and not only put in the work, but quality work, because the quality work that you put in is very important. And a lot of players will tell you if they have issues, weaknesses, and stuff, they work at it until it becomes a strength, and that's the key for persons like Kohli and the others. And regarding the singles, yeah, West Indies have an issue with that, because if you look at the teams overall, even especially in the ODI game, West Indies is the one that has the lowest percentage of singles when it comes to certain matches, ODI matches for sure, and that actually hampers turning over the run rate. So if West Indies can get some good balls and turn those over to singles, and then get the bad balls and dispatch those for sixes and fours, that will definitely have us winning more matches. But I think the problem is that a lot of the players, they wait and wait and wait just to hit the fours and six. Yes, it's calypso cricket, but you have to couple it also with turning that scoreboard over. And that's one of the things I think with Kohli. And there's something that he said once, he said that trying to paraphrase exactly what he was saying, but he said that he tries to get as many singles as possible, because then when he gets a bad ball, he puts it away, because he wants to make sure that he takes as low a risk as possible while maximizing the amount of runs that he can get. And that's one of the reasons why he scores so easily and make it look so easy. And persons like him and Amla and others make it look so easy.
Right. Some salient points there, Zaheer. And it brings me back to my capacity as a coach now who works with student athletes. We tell them that there's no substitute for work. There's no substitute for work. You can't substitute work with anything. And we are not like magicians with a magic wand that wave the wand and that person will run fast or they will score some goals. They have to put in the work. So I definitely agree with you on that point. Now, ESPN put out a story today about how far ahead is Steve Smith from his peers in this era. I want you to shed some light on that because you just mentioned Steve Smith. So I'm putting you on the spot there.
On the spot, yeah. I think I glanced through the article. I think I read most of it. Steve Smith has been a phenomenal player. And as I said, he put in a lot of work. And how he has separated himself from his peers has been phenomenal. A lot of persons just look at the glamour and the glory of scoring these big hundreds. And I can tell you one of his favorite innings for me was 215 that I watched at Lords. I wasn't at Lords, but I was watching that match from the USA, and honestly, I wanted to board a plane and fly to England for the next test just to watch him back because of what I saw there. But he's an exceptional player, and in this era, I think he's the gold standard for this era. No disrespect to Kohli and the others, but when it comes to Test cricket, he is standing above everybody else. And to look at the rating points. Repeat?
Even the great Bradman?
No, I'm saying it's a gold standard for this era.
This era.
And for this era. And when you look at the rating points that the ICC come up with, he has been the only person that has gotten that close to Bradman. Because I think Bradman's maximum was 961 points out of 1,000. Was the highest he ever achieved in his career. And I think Steve Smith is around 945 or somewhere there. So he has been exceptional. And even in this era, where we see where bowling has been getting better and stuff, he has been looking good. It's averaging 60 plus over any stretch of 2, 3, 4 year period. Yes, is ridiculous.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man. And what he has done since 2014, that epic series between him and Kohli, Australia and India, both of them have grown to great strengths. And to think of it that both of them before that series was just averaging 39 and 40 on Test cricket. And look at where they are now. A lot of hard work.
Hands down, Zaheer, who is the greatest batsman of all time?
Wow. That's a hard question. It all depends on what you're looking for. But from a purely statistical or objective point of view, just looking at how somebody has compiled their runs, I have to say Don Bradman, because what he did, and a lot of persons look at his Test career, but a lot of persons need to go back and look at his first-class career, even second-class career, and look at how he played cricket. It was ridiculous, the amount of runs that he used to score, while others were not reaching the peak that he reached. To think about it, Bradman played 52 tests and scored, if I recall, 12 double centuries in 52 tests. 12 double centuries in 52 tests. And right now we have persons like even Sangakkara, Lara was played over 130 tests and still don't reach 12 double centuries.
Yes.
That's interesting. And if you look at his rate of conversion, 29 centuries in 80 innings, 29 centuries in 80 innings.
Can that be attributed to mediocre bowling?
No, I'm not going to say that, because even if you look at his time, you had some exceptional bowlers back then. You had persons like Larwood, you had persons like Laker, you had persons like Betzer, you had persons like Headley Verity, who was an exceptional left-arm spinner. If you look at even other bowlers in that time, the Bill Bowes and others, you had quality bowlers there, bowlers that are averaging under 30, under 25 at times in Test cricket. But the problem was that when they faced Bradman was the one who used to take the game to them. Yeah, and even when everybody else was crumbling around him, all the other players in the team, he was the one that was standing up to them. And think about it, he has two triple centuries, and he almost had a third. The number 11 batsman run out when he was at 299, leaving him 299 not out. So Bradman was ridiculous. Even if you look at any series, any test series, a 5-test series, he has scored the most runs in a 5-test series, almost 970 plus runs. What he did, and the frequency at which he did it, was ridiculous. And just like Lara, he had the first class record and the test record at one point. I think he scored 452, 450 something not out. And his own teammates had to beg him to come off the field and take him off the field with 30 something overs left in the game just to give the opposition a chance to go in and bat so that they can bowl them out. He was just ridiculous, man. If you look back at his career in detail, ridiculous.
So you have eclipsed all of his batting co-workers in every era, so to speak.
Yeah, if you look at what he did,
amazing.
It was amazing because you had quality players in that era. You had people like Wally Hammond, you had people like Dudley Nurse, you had people like George Headley. You had quality players from that era. You had some guys from India that used to play for England at the time as well, that used to score. But none of them scored at the rate that Bradman did.
Yes.
And Bradman was like a rock star, because a lot of persons, even a lot of persons don't even know this. Like in 1932-33, he went on I think it was a 51 match tour of the North America, of America, USA, and
just wanted
Canada.
To see him bat.
Yeah, even Babe Ruth and others. It was fun just to be around Bradman because of the work that he used to put in and how famous he was at the time. Kings and queens used to call this man on his sick bed just to wish him back to health. Yeah, that was how famous he was at that time.
Yes, Zaheer. Time is up on us, and we've reached the end of our program. And we have not even covered some of the stuff that we'd want to ask you in terms of cricket. But Zaheer, definitely we'll have to do this again. But before we close off the show today, any final words that you'd like to share?
Yeah, sure. To the youngsters, you mentioned that you coach, and I used to work with a lot of youngsters, coaching them even basketball and even badminton. In anything in life that you want to do, you have to put in the work. If you have a passion for something, put in the work. Let that passion drive you, because it's when you put in that work that you will see the rewards and reap the rewards. I was not a great writer, but I actually put in the work to get a few awards. So anything you want to do, just put in the work. For sure.
Well said, Zaheer, and thank you very much for taking the time out to be with us here on Coach's Desk, and we definitely appreciate the time and the knowledge that you have unleashed on the audience of Coach's Desk. Definitely we'll do this sometime again. Thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah, man, no problem, man.